Hey everybody, welcome into Faith and Football. My name is Neil, and guys, we are here. We've almost made it through week 4 because I'm recording this on Monday. So you guys can have it brand spanking new and fresh on Tuesday. We still got 2 games left to go tonight. So if any injuries happen, please make sure that you check your injury reports, and I'll be reviewing those on Thursday's episode when we do our start sit. Got a bunch of stuff to get to today. However, as always, God first. And I want to kind of change this up a little bit. We're going to do God centered because here's the thing. And a good friend of mine that I go to church with, he's a mentor of mine, a brother of mine, and he showed me an Instagram clip or a TikTok or something. And they were talking about how it's really hard for us to truly live God first because if God's truly first, there's things that come up in our life that, we want to put first. Like we feel like we have to put our kids first or our marriage first or stuff like that. And we want to say, well, hey, I need to put God first. So I can't be there for you right now. I got to go be with God. And he showed I don't know if you guys have seen it. He showed a dresser, and each drawer had its own thing. So, like one drawer had your family, one drawer had your job, one drawer had your friends, and it's like, where do we put God? And God's saying, I don't want a drawer. I want the whole dresser. So it's God centered. Everything that we do should be with God in the center of everything. Because yeah, it's hard to wake up every morning and not feel guilty about not reading your Bible because you woke up late. Now you gotta get to work because if you don't get to work, you're gonna get fired. And if you get fired, you can't pay your bills. And you can't pay your bills, you're gonna be homeless. Like those are the things that we deal with. But if we're doing things with God in the center, then serving Him becomes so much more natural because that's what we were built to do. We were built to be in relationship with Him. We were built to have Him at the center. You know, if you look at scripture in Genesis, when he's walking in the cool of the evening with Adam and they're talking, it's in the cool of the evening. So, like, Adam went and did his thing and tended to the garden and everything that God had assigned him to do. Then he came and was like, hey, how was your day? Tell me about your day. That's why it's so important to have that connection, with your spouse. If you're married, come home. Hey, how was your day? Take some time. Like turn the TV off, put the phones down. Hey, how was your day? Have that connection. Today's scripture, we're speaking from First Samuel. So I went Old Testament for you guys, and we're talking about the transition Saul to David as king of Israel. Now, if you go back and you read this, First Samuel chapter 8, verse 5, this is when the people of Israel came to Samuel and they were like, and this is what it says. Verse 5 it says, look, they told him, this is the leaders of Israel, you are now old, and your sons are not like you. Give us a king to judge us like all the other nations have. So they were tired of being without a king because in the book of Judges, that's what they had. They had judges that came and settled disputes for the people. Well, Samuel's kids weren't really, let's just say, upstanding citizens and upstanding officials of the the tabernacle. So they were kind of taking bribes and doing stuff they shouldn't have been doing. So the people were like, "Hey, look, we can't depend on these guys. These guys aren't you. You're a really upstanding guy. So." give us a king that will rule over us. And if you read a little further on, skip down chapters or verse 7, Samuel goes to God and he's like, hey, the people want a king. Now, this breaks God's heart because God had intended for the nation of Israel to have a king, and it was him. But because they couldn't see it, because they couldn't like go and verbally hear from their king, they wanted to be like everybody else. Now, how many times do we not see what God has for us because we're too busy trying to get what the world says is stuff that we're supposed to have? So this is what God says to Samuel. He says, do everything they say to you, the Lord replied, for they are rejecting me, not you. They don't want me to be their king any longer. And see, this is a God who took them out of Israel or took them out of Egypt. This is a God who freed them from slavery. So they're like, hey, we don't want that anymore. We want this. They're like children. I mean, you ever had a kid, if you have kids, when they were little and they had a brand new toy, and then they saw their friend with another toy, like, ooh, I want that one. That's basically what the children of Israel were doing. They were like, okay, that's great that we have a king in God, but we want what they have. That's the envy. That's the jealousy that is we have to deal with. So if we skip down to the anointing of David, and at this time, Saul done lost his mind. He got too big for his britches, and the Lord was like, look, Samuel stopped following me. He stopped doing what I told him to do. He wants to do his own thing. He wants to the power just went to his head. So in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 1, it says this, it says, now the Lord said to Samuel, you have mourned long enough for Saul. I have rejected him as king of Israel. So fill your flask with olive oil and go to Bethlehem. Find a man named Jesse who lives there, for I have selected one of his sons to be my king. See, that was the thing, is that Saul was chosen, he was anointed by God, but the reason that he existed as king was because the people rejected God. So the people wanted a king. God was like, okay, fine, here's Saul. Now, Saul looked the part. He looked like a king. He was a really tall, good-looking dude. Now, David, he didn't look like a king. He didn't walk like a king. He didn't talk like a king. But God didn't look at any of that. He didn't look at any of the outward appearance. And it tells us in this story that God looks on the heart, not the outward appearance. And that's what he was looking at. He was looking at where was David's heart. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, what's this got to do with fantasy football? What's this got to do with my lineup? Glad you asked. Because a lot of the times we see players that on other teams, especially this deep into the season. Now, yes, it's early in the season, it's only week 4, but we see guys who aren't performing and we want to get rid of them. But if we look farther ahead, if we look at the analytics, if we look a little farther, then we see that the only reason that they're bad right now is because they had really tough matchups. So hang in there. Look a little further. Do the work. See, David did the work. Saul, he came from a really wealthy family. Now, not saying that he was spoiled or anything because we don't really have any evidence of that, but David was a shepherd boy. He was the youngest one. He wasn't like firstborn. He wasn't expecting anything. He didn't grow up with any expectation of grandeur like Saul did. But David did the work. He put in the time in the fields with the goats and the sheep and defending them against the bears and the lions so that when the time came, he could face Goliath and defeat him and know that he'd already done the work. See, the guys on your team right now, they're doing the work. Like, I have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's been rough to have the past 2 weeks, past 3 weeks, actually, since week one. Week one, it's like 169 yards, blown up. It's awesome. It's like, that's the guy I drafted. Same way the nation of Israel was like, that's the guy that we picked. That's Saul. Saul is our guy. That's our boy. He led us through all these victories. He was doing awesome. Then he fell off. Then God said, you need another one. Now, God might be telling me I need another running back. What is God telling you in your life? Is he telling you don't give up on that marriage? Is he telling you don't give up on that lost loved one? The one that never listens to you, that keeps going out to the bar, that keeps getting drunk, that keeps getting high, that keeps going back to the drugs, back to the alcohol, back to the pornography. Is God telling you don't give up on them? Because I've got a plan. Keep putting in the work on yourself. Let me worry about him. Let me worry about her. But you keep doing the work. So when they do turn, when they do come around, when they are ready to receive what I have for them, you'll be ready to give it. See, if you had called me about 5 years ago, I wasn't ready. I thought I was. Like, I was doing this same channel. I was doing the same premise. But now I have a deeper and different understanding of why I do this. If you look at my views, go look at the views from my last video. My last episode, I looked at it just before I came on here just to see if there was any comments that I missed. I had 0 views. Now, not gonna lie, full disclosure, made me feel some kind of way. But then I remembered, I'm not doing this for the views. I'm doing this as practice. So when I do get face to face with somebody, when I do have that opportunity to share the word, I've already done the work. I've hidden these scriptures in my heart. I've already read them. I've already gone through all the motions. So while this channel is fun to do, I love doing it. I love putting out the content. I love taking the time and setting it aside to do this. And I hope that if you watch this, that you get something from it. But if you don't, I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it because God has a plan and I'm following that plan. I'm putting in the work. So, guys, I don't know what y'all are going through out there. Down below, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, like, share if you think this could help anyone. But remember, you need to put in the work in order to get the result. You're not just going to walk by a gym and poof, you got abs. You got to go inside. You got to put in the work. You got to let the word of God inside of you. You got to put in the work. You want to be successful at anything. It's not just going to come like that. It's going to come over time because you put in the work. So that's what the title of this one's going to be, is putting in the work. Saul didn't want the job. David had put in the work. David went through a process. Saul didn't go through a process. He was just anointed. So you can be chosen and not be ready. He didn't want to put in the work. He didn't want to listen to what God had to say. David did. Now, David did go astray, but that's another episode for another time. But I encourage you guys today, please go put in the work. Go check out the story of Saul and David. Read it. Same, just start from Samuel, First Samuel, and read on down. You'll be glad you did. So, y'all know what time it is. It's time to talk sponsors. Zia Rotisserie Grill at 235 Doucet Road, off of Johnson Street, Lafayette, Louisiana, right behind the Grand Theater, off of Johnson. If you go down there, now they're under construction, should be done somewhere around Christmas, in between Christmas and Thanksgiving. But they're doing it to expand their area, their seating area, expand their bar area. It's going to be a great place to go watch the game. And if you mention that you heard about them from Faith in Football, go down there and you mention my name, mention the channel, you get your free appetizer for the table, anything you want. Hummus, the Kung Pao cauliflower. Yes, they are deep frying cauliflower. Look, this is South Louisiana. We deep fry everything down here, okay? Also, the Thai ribs, you want to find out what they're all about? We got you there too because they're on an appetizer, 4 or 6 bone, whichever one you want. Maybe it's just you and the missus. You want to try it out, see how it is. You and a couple of buddies. Maybe you need the 6 bone for that one. Thai ribs, barbecue ribs, dry ribs, doesn't matter. Uh, if you guys want a little something to spread around, that's the hummus, the Mediterranean or the garlic hummus. Absolutely phenomenal. My wife loves it. Garlic's a little much for her, but you can always get that on the side if you need. Guys, go down there and mention my name and get an appetizer for free from me to you from them. And guys, don't forget that if you in the Lafayette, Louisiana area and you need some catering done, give them a call, 337-406-0013. Anybody who picks up the phone be more than happy to help you with your catering order. If you want to have it at your place, they got you covered there too. They will send amazing people with some phenomenal food to your place wherever you want to have it, or they have a back room. Go check out my short on this channel to see the back room at Zia. Absolutely phenomenal setup. Go down there, go there and check it out. They handle however many people you want. Just give them a call. Well, maybe not however many you want, but it's a good size room. Give them a call, 337-406-0013, and make sure you mention Neil sent you. Okay. Also, my sweetest sponsor down in Youngsville, Louisiana, at Keller's Bakery at 627 Lafayette Street in Youngsville, Louisiana. You go down there, check out my boy Dusty. Now, if you see Dusty, make sure you give him a little pat on the back. Make sure you have a little sympathy for him because he just lost Malik Neighbors. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But what he didn't lose is the ability to kick out amazing pastries. They are killing it down at Keller's Bakery in Youngsville. Go down there, check them out. And if you mention that you heard about them from Faith in Football, you can pick up 2 free cookies. Yes, 2 free cookies just for saying that you heard about them from Faith in Football. No purchase necessary. But how do you go down there and not buy something is beyond me because they are kicking out phenomenal food. You got to get together. You going for Sunday? A watch party for Thursday night? They can hook you up with a king cake. Yes, king cake during football season with your team colors. Yeah, they'll even do the Cowboys if you want them to. Might charge you a little more, but they'll do it for you. So go down there and check them out at 627 Lafayette Street, Youngsville, Louisiana. Mention Faith in Football. Now, also don't forget Omni's Groceries downtown at 603 Jefferson Street inside of Gordon Square. You can check them out too if you're in that area. Maybe you don't know what to eat for dinner. Family's just, hey, we're hungry. What's for dinner? Go down there, check them out because in the freezer section they got family meals made up just for you, ready to go. Pop them in the oven. No muss, no fuss, no prep. Look, from somebody who's been in the restaurant business his whole life, that's awesome that you can pick up a whole family meal, pop it in the oven, not even think about it. You're good to go. Also, they are a absolutely phenomenal supporter of the local economy. They've got over 50 different vendors with over 200 different products in their store. Everything from farm fresh eggs to freeze dried candy, homemade beef jerky, whatever you want. They got you covered. Go down there and check them out. 603 Jefferson Street inside of Gordon Square. And you guys like to cut? Don't forget to go see my boy Nick Reed. You can find him on Booksy at Seawolf Barbershop. That's down at 135A Arnold Boulevard, Lafayette, Louisiana. And go down there, get your little fresh cut, get freshened up for the weekend because we got to look. If we're gonna win fantasy, we got to look good, guys. Come on now. So go down there and see my boy Nick Reed down at Sea Wolf Barbershop, 135A Arnold Boulevard in Lafayette. Now, this week we're talking free agent targets because we got injuries that we're dealing with. Okay. Jaden Daniels has been out the past couple of games. Marcus Mariota has been filling in nicely for him, but he's no Jaden Daniels. So, I'm going to give you guys a couple of quarterbacks to look at. Also, Terry McLaurin dealing with doing his little quad injury thing. We're not sure how that's going to go. I'm going to dive in a little deeper into injuries on Thursday's episode. So make sure you tune in for that one when I do my start set. But for this one, we got waiver wires coming up on Wednesday is when most of them process. So I'm trying to get out ahead of it and make sure that you guys get your claims in, get your fab bids in if you're dealing with fab, which is free agent acquisition budget. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you probably aren't working with it, so it's all good. But the free agents, we're going to be targeting 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks. I'm going to give you those guys. But I do need to mention, unfortunately, Malik Neighbors, for those of you who watched the Giants defeat the Chargers, which was mind-blowing to me. Jackson Dart looked amazing, and I would have loved to have seen what he could do with Malik Neighbors. Unfortunately, he is done for the season. Ruptured ACL, done. So if you have Malik Neighbors, go ahead and drop him. Please don't let him suck up a roster spot unnecessarily, because that's something that we tend to forget about, that we don't really want to drop these superstar guys. Like if you have Joe Burrow, you can probably go ahead and drop him because he's not going to be back in time to help you. Now, if you are doing really, really well, I understand holding them on your IR spot, but there might come a point in time when you have to make that tough decision. Do I drop Joe Burrow in order to pick up somebody else? Because one of my other guys who doesn't have as serious an injury can be put on my IR spot. Some leagues let you do IR players only. Some of them let you do doubtful or out players. Now, if you do doubtful or out players, that's great. That's a good commissioner who doesn't want you to be forced into those decisions, like myself. So anyway, now another quarterback, unfortunately, that got knocked out of this past week's game that was a big name was Lamar Jackson. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. Now, he's not supposed to miss a whole lot of time, but we're going to know more about that in a little deeper in the week. So the closer we get to Thursday, we'll have a little more information coming out, and I'll go over that on Thursday's episode. Okay, guys? Also, for those of you who are carrying Chicago receiver, I'm having to go to I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Darnell Mooney. I don't even know. Sorry. Um, Formerly with with the Bears. Didn't mean to give you all a fright there. But Darnell Mooney with the Atlanta Falcons. He's out. He is dealing with also a hamstring injury. However, it is unlikely to cause him to miss any games. They do have a bye week coming up, so he gets a little extra time. So, guys, remember, I'm going to be going over that as well. Make sure to start paying attention to your buys because this is when it gets interesting. This is when the depth on your roster comes into play. Okay. Bye weeks are starting up. Uh, I will dive into a little more on Thursday, let you guys be aware of Bye-Mageddon, which is when we have about 6 different teams on a bye all at the same week. And normally it's very heavily laden with fantasy all-stars that make a huge impact on your standings and on your run to a championship. So make sure you're tuning in for Thursday's episode because that is going to be jam-packed with not only start sets, but the bye weeks and the injury report. So make sure you guys are tuning in for that one. So free agent acquisitions, most of these guys are going to be on your waiver wire unless you're in deeper leagues. Now, if you are in deeper leagues, please let me know what kind of choices you have down below in the comment section. Let me know who you're thinking about, and I'll give you my opinion on whether or not you should pick them up. Okay. But for right now, we're looking at Matthew Stafford with the Rams. Now, if you look at Matt Stafford, I get the reason that you didn't draft him. I understand the reason that he's still on the waiver wire. He's an older quarterback, has dealt with injuries before. Matter of fact, he was dealing with a back issue going into the start of the season. And that's kind of scary to pin your hopes and dreams on that guy. However, because this is an older quarterback, because he's been dealing with stuff before, this guy plays through pain. He knows how to manage himself. The team knows how to treat him during the week so that he is ready to fully perform on Sunday. So uh, the rest of season, they've got the 6th easiest schedule for quarterbacks in the league. So there's only 5 other guys that have a better schedule than Matt Stafford moving forward. So if you're hurting at quarterback, look, maybe you had Lamar, this hamstring thing's got you freaked out. Go pick up Matt Stafford just in case. Okay. Um, Another guy, Jackson Dart. Yes, rookie. We're going from an old vet to a brand new rookie on his first start. And Jackson Dart looked absolutely phenomenal against a Chargers team that is supposedly one of the better defenses in the league. Now, one thing I do caution with this pick, look, Jackson Dart just lost Malik Neighbors. They had to make us some things on the fly. He did good. He did really, really well. And in week 5, they get the Saints. So if you need a plug and play for next week, maybe whoever your quarterback is on a bye, and you need a plug and play, and your backup is not doing that great, then please go ahead, pick up Jackson Dart, plug him in. There's not a whole lot of tape on this guy, so that's going to be a reason why he does so well so early until they get some more information about his tendencies and things that he likes to do moving forward. Okay, so he could look great for the rest of the season. He could look great for the next month until the rest of the league actually gets a grip on what this guy's doing. And please remember, it is New York. So, yeah, I might be a little biased. Running backs. Now, these 2 guys I'm about to give you, they could be considered deep cuts, but I watched these games that they were in, and they passed the eyeball test for me. Okay, that's Kendre Miller with the Saints. He had 11 rushes. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've got Alvin Kamara taking all these rushes, there's rumor that he could be a trade candidate come the trade deadline. So if you want to stash somebody on your roster who's actually getting work right now in week 4, Kendre Miller is a guy who you need to know the name of and you need to have on your bench. Okay, I'm not saying start him, but I am saying stash him. So make sure you're picking up Kendre Miller. Like I said, 11 rushes. with the Saints. He was being productive. He looked really good running, what I saw. And if one of two things happened, if one, they actually do trade Alvin Kamara because they are building for the future, or he gets injured because he is an older running back. So if he does get injured, all of the weight of that starting role falls on Kendre Miller. Now, the previous coaching staff, he was in their doghouse for whatever reason, but that's why that coach isn't there anymore. Kellen Moore looks like he's seen the value in Kendre Miller moving forward. So he's giving him opportunities. He's letting him prove himself. His role has been growing week by week by week. And this past week, 11 rushes is a huge step in the right direction. Now, the next guy up, this is more of a, I've seen what the other options are, and I'm not excited. This is Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not excited at all to have either one of these guys. But what I did see from Bashard Smith, this dude had a play. He caught the ball, was running, got hit, tiptoed down the sideline for like an extra 3-4 yards. This dude has something special. And for the rest of the season, KC has the 9th easiest rushing schedule for running backs in the league. So there's only 8 other guys who have an easier schedule than KC does. And we saw them put something together against Baltimore this past Sunday. And Brashad Smith, they've got Rashee Rice coming back soon, week 7, if I'm not mistaken, or week 8, because they have a bye. Xavier Worthy is back. We've seen this past week, has KC finally put something together because they were looking horrible. Okay. So if they put something together, if they figure things out, Brashad Smith could be the next big thing in KC. So keep an eye on that name. Put your waiver claim in for him. Don't overpay for him if you're on Fab, but definitely put a bid in for this guy. Now, the next one up, and look, I'm wearing the shirt. I got the sign behind me. So I absolutely cannot stand being forced to mention this guy. But I watched the game last night with the Packers and the Cowboys ending in a tie, and I saw this guy with my own eyes. Jalen Tolbert went 4 catches, 61 yards. They don't have CeeDee Lamb right now. So if you need somebody to fill in a flex position, this could be the guy for you. And if anything else happens with CeeDee Lamb, with George Pickens, who absolutely went nuclear last night, it was unreal. Make sure that you got Jalen Tolbert at least in your sights for your free agent acquisition. Okay. Next guy up, Adonai Mitchell with the Colts. He went 3 of 4 for 96 yards. Now, Danny Dimes did not look good last week. Threw an interception, didn't have a whole lot of production. In our scoring system, he only got me like 12 points. So I was not happy considering that I literally just traded for him this week. And I've got Justin Fields sitting on my bench for Monday night. So thankfully, I did win. But I don't like sweating out that much. But Adonai Mitchell, 3 for 4 for 96 yards. Yes, they have other receivers. They got Michael Pittman, who is the primary guy. They got Josh Downs, who is a little dinged up. They do have Tyler Warren. They do have JT, Jonathan Taylor. But Adonai Mitchell has shown in the past that he can be a serviceable flex option. So with all the bye weeks getting ready to fire up, please make sure that you've got depth at the position. Maybe you don't have any of the Colts receivers and this guy is the only one out there. Go get him. maybe the matchup that you play him in is a plus matchup. Keep an eye on that. I'm going to be moving forward. I'll be highlighting some matches that are really, really good when I do my start sets because that's what I try to do most of the time. Anyway, I look at who has the easiest matchup, who's a superstar in that team, and who is probably going to break out for that team. So, guys, that's all I got for you. If you need any other help, please down below, hit me up with a comment. Let me know. Give me a little more information than just, hey, I got this guy and that guy. Let me know if it's PPR, half PPR, standard, dynasty, redraft, keeper league, stuff like that. Let's have a conversation. That's what I want. I want relationship with the viewers. So hit me up down below. Let me know. And we will see you guys back here on Thursday for the Thursday start set episode for week 5. Guys, we're through the first quarter of the season. We're fixing to go into the next one. I hope that you go in at least 3-1, if not 4-0. So, guys, until I see y'all next time, thank y'all much for tuning in. I appreciate it greatly. And remember, football is good, but God is greater. And we'll see you guys next time on Faith and Football. God bless.